crazy week. And this last couple of weeks, people have been having health challenges like crazy. You're going to find out exactly why. This is Astro Monday, one of the most powerful talks that we do all week. We got my sensei, Christopher Witecki, master astrologer, going to be coming on and letting us know why. We have some of the craziest stuff happening. People getting sick all over the place, people purging, having health issues, accidents. And there's a reason why. We're going to find out what that reason is here. So click on your bootstraps and let's get ready to go rock and roll with Mr. Christopher Witecki. Guys, are you feeling it, by the way? Today's 28 degree. It's the 18th. I think today's the 18th. 20th, sorry, it's the 20th, and it's 28 degrees in Scorpio, which is today is a manifest day. It's also protect your heart day too. And so basically stuff that's coming up in your reality today is invariably things to test you, things from your past. So are you feeling that? Is that something that's in your reality? Are you feeling, day 3 of COVID? Oh, there you go. Don't even know if I can say that anymore. They're sending out all these new community guidelines. So we're going to be having Mr. Christopher Witecki coming up here in a minute. Waiting for him to get on. Here, let me check and see where he's at. And we're getting ready here. So are you guys feeling it? Hey, Carol, there's a big group growing in Ireland. How you doing? Saw you just recently. Real inner unrest for the last couple of months. Yeah, last couple of months because people know what's coming.
Hey,
Christopher,
buddy.
how's
How's
you
it
doing?
going? I'm good, brother. It's cold here, so I'm inside today.
Oh, that's
How's it
awesome.
going?
Hey,
How
we
you
had
doing?
such good feedback with you and Raw last week.
Oh, we had a good time with Raw. He's an interesting cat, man. Definitely interesting guy.
Yeah, it's that Libra coming out.
Yeah, and I've seen some of his lives too. He's got like yellow glasses. He's pretty psychedelic cool. He goes down those rabbit holes.
Yeah,
So yeah, he's a cool guy. I liked his energy a lot. I had a good
yeah.
time. We had a good
The
time.
other part too is as we were also testing out the market to see what happens if I don't show up. Do people? Is it still draw the same audience? Do people like it? And basically, what I found out by having him host, he's younger, better looking. It's like it doesn't matter if I'm here or not.
I would think so. I mean, it seemed like it went really well. We saw some people in your, I mean, it seemed like the audience was there. It seems like people were
Yeah.
really interested and engaged in the conversation. So it's one of those things where certainly that conversation can go on without you at some time, right?
Well, I mean, that's really the point. The point is that I don't want to. I'm not going to be doing this in a year, but I'll be showing up once in a while, but at higher value because you get all these people that are experts in what they do, and we want them to own that part of the channel. And then eventually, every one of these conversations is literally a channel. We're building a television network.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm with you, brother. I'm also,
Yeah,
we're building it together.
we're building
Like,
it
yeah,
together,
yeah,
and
we're in
we
the
have
same place.
we've been working on it now. I was talking to Certified Health Nut today, and Troy, and what I was saying to him, which is true. We're at 100 pieces of user generated content a week, so we're starting to schedule out even months in advance right now. And
Wow.
we're going to be at the point where we're going to be at of our own content. We're going to have 100 to 150 pieces of content delivered and posted every week within the next by the end of the year for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
So
content. Yeah.
on different channels and stuff like that because we can only put 4 or 5 pieces a day on Instagram, otherwise our reach goes down. So we just new channels. We got Fashion Maneuvers, and if you're watching this, go over subscribe to Fashion Maneuvers.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. And how are you in Costa Rica? Is it going well?
Costa Rica's fantastic. I mean, it's definitely the jungle.
Mm.
It's been and we had just a monsoon rain come through, and it's been like that every retreat we have. It starts off with a rain and then it gets sunny. It's like washing, and then everybody's detoxing and stuff like that. It's like Montezuma's revenge, and then everybody blossoms out. It's happened every time we get people together.
Mm. And it's but mosquitoes,
I don't,
humidity, like
don't get bit by mosquitoes anymore. I mean, they all are, but it
okay.
doesn't bother me, so I don't. So it's not in my reality anymore.
You don't have the fur gnome for whatever it is, right? Yeah.
I think it's.
But
I actually think it's energy. So
okay, that's interesting. You're looking to get bit.
well, they also what we noticed when we went to Mexico, because you get bit a lot, like hundreds of times. They all get bit on the meridians that they're having issues with, resentment.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because you can see it. Because when you get like 40 bug bites, but they're all in this pattern. What is that pattern? That pattern is a meridian.
Okay, got you. That makes sense because it seems like I have noticed when I get bitten or eaten alive, it's like it is like along a line on my body. Like it's like they all lined up or whatever. It's not random. It's always around one
Yeah,
spot.
yeah. For you, inside of your legs, for you up through here, you might get them here, right on
Yeah,
there. Yeah, but
yeah,
you bet, and you might get them a little bit down here.
yeah. I do on my left leg. On my
Yeah,
left leg, I get
that's
them a lot.
just
Yeah.
resentment and anger getting inside.
Like hell it is.
so,
So that's great, man.
so
Yeah, go ahead.
it's been crazy. I mean, we talked about the full moons, and we talked about them coming up, and there's 5 moons at 4 degrees.
At five.
Oh,
There's
sorry,
two at
five.
four, two at four, and three at five.
Okay,
Um,
yeah,
but
yeah,
but
and
five new moons at 20.
yeah. Oh, five. Sorry, 5 new moons. Sorry, 5 new moons at 20.
Yeah.
So we had the new moon come through, and then we got the full moon coming up, right?
With the full moon at 4 degrees coming up at the end here, the tail of Monday, right after Thanksgiving, is when that apex is.
So this we're coming into Thanksgiving week. Now the last couple of weeks have been spot on. People have been going batshit crazy, and it is getting crazier and crazier and crazier. It's the lives now. What's happened is in our chats, people have gone from "Hey, how do I fix this?" to "Hey, how do I fix this?" to "Where can I get a practitioner? Where can I go to a class?" And it just switched like a light switch here this last week.
Oh, that's great. So being
Yeah,
on the other side of it.
yeah. Well,
That's exactly what we
they're
predicted.
looking. They're probably in the middle of it, saying, "Now I need to do something about it."
Well, I think that new moon was the solution, so that was last Monday, a week ago
Yeah.
today. It was a week ago today, early in the morning. That new moon was like, okay, that's it. I want a new life. I want a new start. 20 is holding space for the future, holding space for a new future. So and that is exactly what I sort of thought that from 0 to 20 Scorpio, it was going to be drawing a line between the new and the old world. And with Saturn direct in Pisces, like purging old world vibration. And by the way, that has been a consistency. I know so many people who've been vomiting, they've had food that they thought was food poisoning,
Yeah,
flu.
they
People are
always say food poisoning because of the vomiting. Yeah.
yeah, it's the only thing you can think of because you're like, what, if you don't have the other symptoms, like the fever or, the body aches, but you're just vomiting and purging, you think it might be flu. I mean, you think it might be food poisoning. But I go with your theory. We're releasing, right?
Yeah. I mean, look at, we don't even, I have too much evidence to say that it is, like, it's like, oh, so basically what you're saying is like 20% of our reporting audience all got food poisoning in the same day. Yeah, that's believable.
Yeah, right. It could be. Yeah, could be some sort of food recall. Yeah. So
Now,
it was,
Cynthia on Friday um, went right into fever, like 103-degree fever,
wow.
and then Friday, Saturday, and coming back into it on Sunday. Now that's for her. That's unusual because for me, I'm the one that gets all the body symptoms. I'm the one that's puking, getting fevers. I'm the one that's spewing at both ends. For her, never. So there was something that changed, and not exactly sure what it was, but she definitely got it in the body.
Okay. Well, I've seen everyone have some sort of body physical release in November. I mean, everyone that I know, everyone's gotten sick. There's been some sort of excuse. So I really think we were like sponging it out. And then the new moon, which was a week ago, was the start of the new cleared vision and direction, I believe.
Yeah. So So the reason why I say it is, okay, so the way that the body works from a biological standpoint is that we're basically 70% water, 25% silica and
Mhm.
sand, 5% bacteria, viruses, parasites, etc. Well, we see the world through if our gut biome is bad, we get depressed or whatever. If it's good, we are happy and joyful. Well, what affects that more dramatically and more viciously, like cycles like that, um, is our our viral our viruses.
Okay.
So what I say is that as we're raising our frequency, our virome changes, and our biome changes. And as we change our frequency, then I'm seeing the world differently. Well, then the parasites and the bacteria, which contribute to the way I see the world, have to go if they don't resonate anymore. It's frequency.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it
And
wasn't food poisoning. It was a virus exodus or a parasite exodus.
yeah, and for me, when I was going through those 4 years of this happening every 3 months, and then every month, I'd feel all of a sudden I could feel my valve close. I could feel myself not wanting to urinate. So I'd stop urinating, my valve would close, and then and then all of a sudden I'd feel a little bit of a headache. And then I'm like, okay, here it comes. And it would be like clockwork, and it would be 3 days. And 3 days I couldn't eat, couldn't drink any water. And and so I got to the point where I would just plan for it, and I would start fasting beforehand. So like before the full moon would come, about a day to 2 days before, I'd already be fasted. So by the time the full moon came, I'm just dry heaving. There's nothing there. So but what would come out would be this white kind of meshy stuff and yellow.
Mhm.
So the yellow is
Mhm.
butyric acid, but this white meshy stuff, there's no biological explanation for it.
Some sort of bile, as they said in the old days.
Yeah.
Basically, they called it bile, right? Every fluid was
Yeah.
bile.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we've done a lot of purging. How are people? Are they optimistic in your circle?
Yeah.
Have
Yeah.
have, have you seen a shift
Yeah.
in?
Well, I mean, in our community, it's like, oh, I'm detoxing, because they know they're going through an emotional reset. They start to have the detox, and right away they're like right now we don't say I'm sick, because I don't like people. You careful with the words we use, right? Words will either limit us or liberate us, and right now we use them very limiting, because if I'm sick, sickness is a condition that leads to death. But when I get a flu, I'm not going to death. My body's technically, by all biological and scientific, my body's cleaning itself. And I
Yeah.
feel better and more aware after it. So actually my body's healing when I have a flu or I have a cold.
Yes.
That's a healing mechanism. So
Mhm.
if my body's healing, then what am I sick from? Well, the only thing left is my life.
Right. Yes. Your consciousness,
Yeah.
your dis-ease,
Yeah, my
right? Yeah.
disease. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so our community's pretty well, they just say I'm detoxing. Because, like I was talking to a girl today, and she was really, yeah, like I tell everybody I had food poisoning. But I said that works for a while, but by the third or fourth month in a row that you're doing that, they're like, hey, well, how come you're so unlucky? You're getting this food poisoning again. I'm like, it's not food poisoning. It's I'm detoxing. So now I just say I'm detoxing.
Okay. Well, then I've detoxed a lot.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I've woken up and for some reason for me, it's the middle of the night. So like around 4 a.m. I wake up and my
That's
body's like,
it's grief.
okay,
It's grief is your
okay,
processing grief. Yeah, because
okay,
3 to 5 is your lungs, and five
okay.
to seven is your large intestine. So it's grief.
That's interesting. Yeah, I suppose that would be the case. I don't feel the grief, but I guess it's still residue in my body. My body still has the memory, the
Well,
physical
yeah,
memory
you've
of
been
it.
letting go of it. There's
Okay.
been a lot to grieve about in your life over the last year,
Yep.
and over the last many years. Everything from relationships to for you being attacked, people coming after you, online attack, spoofing you,
Yeah.
copying you. I mean, those are big grief situations. People betraying you. Like over the
Yeah.
last couple of years, that's what's happened.
Yeah, it was the closing of all those relationships that I had that were toxic. And thanks for bringing that up. A couple of your audiences be careful. I will never approach you in a chat offering you a reading. So there was a couple people that came up that there is some sort of spoof of me out there, and at least one human garage person I know got duped. And I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you know something? It's like, I mean, they should know better than that, anyways. But what I tell people is like, so for us, once they pass a community guideline, like once they've asked for money, then what we do is we tell everybody, and the account shut down within 24 hours every time. So because I'll have like 1,000 people message them, but we did it a couple times when they start up a new account, and they haven't broken a community guideline yet. So once they haven't broken a community guideline, we can't get them shut down. So we get this whole thing. Well, they haven't broken a community guideline.
Okay. Yeah, they block you. I mean, I've been through this 1,000 times. They clone your profile. They block you so you don't run into yourself,
Yeah, yeah.
into your clone version of yourself. And then I usually find out from viewers, my subscribers are pretty wise to it now. They all kind of attack like wolves on fresh meat
Yeah.
when that happens now. But your audience may not be as familiar with it. But
Oh no, they're
we're on the
familiar.
lookout now.
They're really, yeah. They tell me right away,
Yeah.
but I have to wait till, like, if the fake account hasn't violated a community guideline, I can't have it removed.
Right. I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And as soon as they ask for money from somebody, then that's when it's looked at. Then I put it up on my thing, and then it's gone within 24 hours. So this last one got to 6,000 people following before we
Wow.
got it, before they asked for money.
My personal profile is blue check marked, but our brand is not. So I'm finding they're not actually cloning me. They're cloning our brand that has me on it. So
Yeah.
it's all part of the fun. But yes, back to the grief. So yeah, I had a lot to purge.
Yeah.
But I am feeling lighter now. I'm starting to feel optimistic. I'm very excited. I've had a lot of euphoria, and I don't know. We don't talk about dimensions very often, but do you believe that we move into 5D here while we're on Earth? What are your thoughts on
Well,
dimensions?
I think dimension's a different way. Dimension, in the first dimension, it's oneness. The second dimension is duality. The third dimension is as I recognize the world around me. The fourth dimension is as I notice patterns, like the Earth has patterns. The fifth dimension is I notice I have patterns. The sixth dimension is I modify my patterns. So the dimensions are different than the realities, the realms. The realms that
Hmm.
everybody says 5D, well, that's actually describing a place, but in the dimension is more of an the way I see it is more of an emotional set. Like for example, I have a pattern in one area of my life. I can literally be in the sixth dimension in that pattern. I could have another one over here where I don't even recognize it, and I'm in the third dimension. So I see dimensions as differently than realms, as an example. Because in the third realm where we have it right now, and we're moving to 5D, this is where it gets confusing because everybody's like,
Yeah.
we're moving to 5D, but their life just sucks. No, no, and they're all like, I'm in the 5D, but all these other people are in 3D, and I'm like, well, why does your life look so? Like, why are you getting
Right.
hit all the time? Why are you always having problems? Why are you getting sick all the time? Why is your bank account always hit? Why are you being attacked all the time? Why are you having relationship issues all the time? So obviously you're not living in that whatever you call it is, because if you were, you wouldn't be having all these issues, because the world just shows up to show you where you are.
Yeah. So so they're not really in 5D.
Well, yeah,
They
yeah.
just think they
Where I
are.
mean, yeah,
What
for
is
sure not.
5D? I mean, so if you're saying the dimension is a personal perception
Yeah, I
awareness, it's
mean,
that
it's state of
they're
awareness.
dimensions of
It's a
perceptions. They're dimensions of
state of
perceptions.
awareness. Like if I my state of awareness is I don't recognize patterns or at all, then I walk around and I keep bumping into shit that shows me patterns that I don't see, and those patterns are like painful. But then I go, oh, wait a second here, this has happened to me before. Well, now I recognizing that there's a pattern, and then I recognize, well, this happened before. Same thing happened 12 years ago. That's a pattern. Jupiter cycle. Well, but okay, now I start to recognize my pattern. Oh, I have this happen every 12 years. Now that's my pattern. That's 5D, five to fifth dimension. And then Sixth dimension is I have the pattern come up and I say, I'm going to do something different this time. So now I'm acting differently, which means my reality, my world shows me different feedback because the world's constantly showing me feedback. And I used to like go, why is all this happening to me? Now I'm like, okay, well, these things that are happening to me, what they are is they're not, it's not a problem. It's not a trigger. It's a better way to look at it. It's not a trigger. Sorry.
It's a clue.
It's a clue. It's a clue to inform me where I am and how I should act. So, but if it's a trigger, it has a negative connotation, right? Mm-hmm. But if it's a clue, it's like, oh, that's notifying me that I still haven't solved this issue. It's still showing up for me. I still have this crappy situation where somebody gets angry at me every time or runs me off the road or somebody steals from me. That's a clue. That's a clue that something in my life or something in my inside world hasn't yet figured out. And if somebody removes the clue, but I don't get the lesson, then I'll get it back over here, but it'll be bigger and harder. Mm-hmm. And this is where we were doing in the body. We were people are getting clues about what's going on in their outside world by looking at their bodies. And then what happened is that they were getting these things happening to them. I would take them away physically. Now they go back out 2 years later, they come back instead of a broken ankle. Now it's like they got hit by a car and their hip is taken out. And then I fix that. Then they get a concussion and they get cancer. And I realized that over time I was fixing people's problems, but their body was giving them, and their lives were giving them clues trying to get their attention. And if I take away the pain without them having the lesson, then that lesson has to come back. But the next time it comes back, it's always bigger, more impactful.
Right. Yes. I mean, if it's ignored, you mean?
Yeah. So if I take away the pain in your body,
right. That's just the symptom, not the cause. So if you treat the symptom and not the cause,
yeah, I realized that as a practitioner, I was the problem.
Right.
Because I was removing their pain, and we saw this very clearly because people came to Human Garage Clinic. They came to the clinic because everything else had failed. We were the last resort, so there wasn't a place. There wasn't an alternate place to go. So if we fixed them and they had an issue, they're still coming back to us. And they couldn't see the relationship between the issues, but I could because I was looking beyond the physical act. I'm like my mom before she passed away. She kept falling down and landing on her gallbladder resentment.
Wow.
And on her arm. She kept falling down and smashing and scraping different areas, but they're all on the same meridian line. Whether it's the head, the arm, or the leg, it's the same area. She fall again, it's the same area on the other side. It's a message.
Yes.
She knew it. I mean, she had a contusion. She couldn't even think. And Cynthia and I said, Mom, you know that this is happening. She goes, yeah. I said, do you want me to help you? And I did. And she couldn't even cognate because her head was crushed, really.
Wow.
And so we took the pain away right away. And that's when I recorded that end of life recording with my mom, because I knew at that point that the next time this happens, she's not coming back.
Wow. So back to dimensions, it seems like to me, the reason why I bring this up is because I believe when Pluto goes into Aquarius next January 20th, 21st, we begin the ascension process on Earth. I believe we begin to move to higher frequencies.
That's right.
What we're doing right now is we are pissing out the old frequencies and throwing them up.
Those are the dimensions in our states of awareness.
Yes, and they're the physical holding on, the batteries of the holding on to those dimensions. Those parasites are little batteries that hold on to that old dimension or operate in that dimension.
And we're moving realms.
Yes, the realm ends up shifting as a result. So do you believe? So I'm hearing that the high. Well, I think we've already experienced this. This is what I was getting to in this philosophical discussion with you. Is like, I think there's moments if you laugh like for 20 minutes in a movie, I think you go to the fifth dimension for a minute, come back. The fifth,
another realm, because the dimension. I'm Matthias de Stephanos.
Yeah, I love Matthias.
Okay, well that's where I'm talking about how he describes it. It's the best version. I'll send it over to you. It's the best version of describing the difference because because I couldn't resolve this 5D versus 3D thing, because everybody's like, I'm living in the 5D, I'm moving to the 5D. Well, first of all, they're like, I can't wait till I'm in the 5D. Well, you can't get to a higher dimension if you can't accept yourself in the current one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Because you're not
Acceptance
living.
is, well, I think so let's map this out. Acceptance is necessary for detachment.
Yes.
If you can't accept it, you're still holding on to some meaning or purpose or desire or
Correct.
outcome or expectation. So if you don't accept that you are, messed up or have pain or in grief, then you're actually holding on to grief. You can't let go of it. You have to detach and let go and detach from that energy, which is lower frequency, and that allows us to elevate to a higher frequency. Is that how you see it too?
Yes. Yeah. We have to detach from it, and those things have to come up again. And even when we get the lesson, like if you tell me about it and I go, oh yeah, that's right, okay, good, that's good, and now I'm aware of it, but I still haven't caught it. I have to catch that myself. I have to catch it while I'm doing it, or like after I do it. Then I have to catch it while I'm doing it, and that's what your platform is built about.
Yes,
your platform helped me use astrology to like beforehand like predict it. Okay, well I see it, but I didn't really there. Afterwards, I look at it and go, oh, that did happen today. And then after a while, it's like, oh, it's happening right now. I can feel it. I can verify it. Now it's like I'm acting a certain way. I look at the astrology, it goes, oh, that's why I'm acting this way, because I've already made the shift.
Yeah. Yes, totally. And and it's surprising. I think we're unaware of what we're holding on to because we try to forget it deliberately.
Yeah.
So if you have if you think about, remember that time when that girl stood you up at the movies and you're like, oh, you get pissed. If you have an emotional reaction to that, you're still attached to that, even though you forgot about her a long time ago, or whatever.
Yeah, and there's a couple of them that are like the unconscious ones. I'll give you one. It's the ones you go, oh, and it's like, and they go away. So I'll give you a real life one. I'm being transported to meet my accusers, cuffed, hooded, shackled in a prison transport van, going to see the big boys.
They
going to see the big boys, and the while I'm in the transport, after 17 months of not seeing anybody, right? This is how
wow.
Yeah, it was that. So now I'm transported to go talk to the FBI and CIA guys and all that shit. And as I'm going over, then I have this visceral memory of being there.
Wow.
And then I have this memory of every time that I saw a prison transport van in my life. I remember going, ooh, and moving away from it. But I wasn't aware at the time I was doing it, right down to the month before, driving with my kids down the 405, and one came up right beside me, and I like just pulled 4 lanes over. But I wasn't even aware I did it until I was there in the situation. Now, the question was, did I know that was going to happen? Was I in the future, or did I have a sense, or time is fictitious? And I just knew that was part of my journey. And I'm like, I don't want that. That's going to be a painful part. I don't want it. So
yes. What is the answer to that? I don't know. I feel like we sign up for some things in life, so I don't know if your soul knew it was coming all those years when you were young and seeing them on the highways and I
knew.
Yeah, or so, and you try to deny that or whatever.
Yeah, and it comes.
But I am having things
like, ooh,
yeah, you get a shiver. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good sign right there that something's coming.
But I wasn't aware that that's what I was doing until I was in the situation.
Right.
And like for you, it's like the grief, like, oh, grief, and I go do my thing. When I have that feeling, I take action in this way in this world. So I do that. I take action,
right.
But I haven't dealt with it, like, because I don't want to deal with it.
No, we don't. We don't want to deal with the feelings of it. And that's the resistance, and that's the persistence, and that's what holds you down in the lower frequencies. And that's what you have no choice. You can't go up, over, or around. You have to go through.
Okay, so now holding me at a lower frequency. So in order to hold me at a lower frequency, I have to perceive, hear, and see things at that frequency. Like if I walk into a restaurant and I'm a crook, I see, and I can rob restaurants, I can see every place, every fault that restaurant has, that I can go steal its money. But if I'm a restaurant management consultant, I go in and look at the same things and say, here's all the opportunities to fix this so that they can save money and protect themselves.
Yes.
But so what I perceive when I go in, or my view scope that I look at, is greatly controlled by my biome and my virome.
Yeah.
If I've got Epstein Barr and it's active and it's over 1200, I'm going to see everything as a potential threat. No one's listening to me. I can't hear. I'm going to freak out. I'm going to do stupid shit. I'm going to actually scream and yell and the next day and make a scene. The next day I'm going to go, I don't know what was in me, man. I just blacked out. I went rage. I did this crazy stuff. That's what I observed with Epstein Barr being super high, over 1200 with Bartonella. So that means the virus, because it feeds on fear, it needs adrenaline, norepinephrine, cortisol, testosterone. It needs those hormones to survive. So when it comes out, it feeds on them. So it creates havoc in my liver, my kidneys, and my spleen to get that effect. And in that effect, I go crazy like batshit. Well, so that's viruses that are affecting us. And it affects my viewpoint. Well, if I change my viewpoint, my perception, now I see something different. Well, whatever's not commensurate with that sight is going to have to leave my body in order for me to integrate in my body, my computer, that change of software, which is my perception. So I'm going to puke it out.
Exactly. And I've even been told that the feeling of hunger is based on a bacteria. Is that true?
Yes, because we're not technically hungry. We went 44-day fasting, as you know. And it was funny because we're here and I'm eating whatever they deliver here. It's all organic, it's plant-based, it's all the right stuff, but it's 2.5 to 3 times more than I would eat at home.
Oh, wow.
And I find myself at nighttime hungry, and I'm like, how can I be hungry? It's 2 to 3 times I eat every day of the week, and I'm hungry again. Why is that? How is that possible? Yes, it's a bacteria, and then furthermore, it's parasites too.
Right.
Your parasites, they're hungry. They're gonna trick your brain into thinking you're hungry.
Yes. That's what I thought. So when you get that hungry feeling, it's actually the parasites sending signals to your body to feed them. You yourself are fine. I mean, I'm not like we got fat for weeks, boys. What are we worried about? There's no shortage of food on this body. I can get through a winter like a bear.
Yeah, I used to, but not no more.
Yeah, well, you did it. Yeah. Well, you'll have to give us the Human Garage weight loss approach. Yeah, I noticed. Like you totally did it, and that wasn't.
But I don't even have to do anything. If I don't work out, if I don't do maneuvers, I get better. Actually, I went all summer without doing even maneuvers just to see what happened, and I got leaner and more muscular. Looks like muscles.
And you didn't stop. So you didn't stop eating. It was just, you think it was a spiritual, emotional.
I have the same thing every day.
Got you.
We learned that in the fast, because I'd go to the fridge and it's like, I open it up. Jason would come up. He goes, "You're not hungry. I can tell." And I'm like, "You're right." And I could tell that. And there's days that he'd go and I'm like, "You're not hungry. I can tell." So, and we just kept going. We had no idea how long it was going to be there, but we ended up staying 44 days, and they wanted to go back, and I was like, "No, fuck no. I'm going to stay here for the rest of my life." Because I didn't want it, because I didn't need it. I wanted to prove to the world I was angry. I was angry that I got tricked thinking that food was a fuel. It's a medicine. But if I overconsume my medicine, I'm going to then, it becomes a drug. Like when we were kids, we would go out in the morning, we'd come back at nighttime, we wouldn't eat, we wouldn't even drink throughout the day.
Actually, I was having this realization when I was going through my thing last year, where I realized, I was thinking back to my life, and I'm like, I don't remember eating in college.
No.
Like, I don't remember eating. I don't think I ever ate. And I'm thinking, okay, I sure as hell didn't cook for myself. I didn't have any utensils. And it's like, I don't remember going to the dormitories eating very often. I barely ate in my 20s. I don't remember cooking food in my first marriage. Like, I don't remember us eating. We rarely ate.
We barely
ate.
But now we take kids and they go for like an afternoon, and we've got 5 little snacks, we got a little juice box, we got this. So and that was my point, is when we were younger, we went all day long without eating, and we still grew. I mean, you saw when I was 19, I was a big bodybuilder. I mean, didn't hurt me any.
Right.
And so what happened? Where did we go from this? And that's because society, we started programming, and the programming was, you need 3 square meals a day. Now I read my great grandfather's journals, and I
Huh.
caught some things in his journals. And my grandfather came over from America at 14 years old. 14 years old, came over from England, I mean, and he's talking
Wow.
about food, this new food. He's talking about money and how money worked. And he's just narrating like a diary. And he was actually a published author. I didn't know this. So I've got this piece that was unpublished that he written.
Wow.
Well, my great grandfather, they were regularly eat every second day or third day sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, but how would you know that? How would you know that your grandparents or great grandparents didn't eat? Because them, that's just the way it was. They're not like writing a journal log about it. But I caught it because he was diarizing days, and he was talking about, well, he was talking about eating because he hadn't eaten in a couple of days, so he thought he'd better eat.
Wow.
And yeah, and then as I started looking at it, I started finding it more and more and more. So in other
Yeah.
words, we've been sold a bill of goods that we eat three square meals a day.
Yeah, I mean, I've always wondered too, like crossing the American, plains, it's like you only had a wagon full of food, yet they were gone for like 3 months. Like they basically lived on beef jerky, Lewis and Clark, and like mild hunting. It seems like in the old days we rarely did eat. Like it was the funny thing is it takes a long time. Like, so was your grandfather before the Depression? That
Yes,
great grandfather?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well before the Depression. We're talking turn of the century. And my grandfather came over here, I think I guess it would have been like 1910 or something like that. and
Right.
and so I have a diarized life, and the way that they ate is differently, and what they thought about food and what it was much differently than we do today. So that, and
Right.
I found this out after my 44-day fast. I mean, I wasn't even in the consciousness to think about it. I wouldn't have caught that had my perception wasn't there. So it wasn't even looking. It didn't even trigger me before.
Right. Well, that's what I was saying. It was like I talked to my grandma about growing up, and she said, like, she grew up on a farm. They only ate once a day at night.
Yeah.
They only ate. They only ate at night. They'd have maybe some stuff they'd take off of like a tree or an apple or something during the day. But it wasn't until the Depression and the thought of having food scarce. So
Yes.
once it was in their mind that there was a scarcity,
Yes.
then suddenly they were always starving.
Yes.
But she said growing up she never ate. It wasn't until the idea of the scarcity that it actually felt like they were starving to death.
Correct. Yeah, so we do this. Actually, this is one when I take and work with practitioners. One of the things I do is I take them outside in their basically underwear, bathing suit, and like -5 weather, and then we do fascia maneuvers. So I teach them how to warm up their body. So just within 5 minutes, they're all warm.
Wow.
Okay, and then I get them warm. We go through a practice, we talk and all that, and then I say we're going to go inside, but we got to do some stuff first.
Okay.
We're going to go inside. And they're like, oh, yeah, okay. So now they think they're going inside.
Now
Now I say, okay,
they're
but we got some
freezing.
more things to do. And then what happens is they start to shake and get cold within a couple minutes because their body has an expectation of going to this nice, warm place. And now they want to be there. So the body says, okay, I don't want, it's using less. Basically, the body's saying I use less energy. So it's going right over there, and then it started to shake and get cold. And as the closer we got to the time where we get inside, and we do this consistently, they start to get cold and they're shaking. But I'm like, but you were outside for 30 to 40 minutes in that cold with nothing on, basically. And then all of
Right.
a sudden, the last couple minutes, you get cold. It's one of the things that we use to show people in their body how perception affects their biology.
That's fascinating. I don't know if you ever read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It's one of my favorite books of all time. But he visits a planet where you can fly until you realize you're flying. Then you fall.
Yeah,
It's sort of that same mentality where it's
yeah,
just like, as soon as you realize you're flying. So it was like, as long as you don't realize you're hungry, you're not hungry.
yeah,
It's like, but as soon as you realize, or my hard thing is like, I can go, I'm like you, since 2020, my food consumption has gone down so low. I really only eat once a day. And did you not eat for 44 straight days? Is that what you're
44 days,
saying?
yeah.
Or
And then last year, I would do between 10 and 20-day fasts almost on a monthly basis for a year.
yeah.
And then I also towards the end of last year when I was practicing. After I get like 5 to 7 days in the fast, I'd stop sleeping. So I would go 5, 6 days without sleeping. Because the only reason you
Wow.
sleep is to get DMT, but when your body is completely cleared out and you've been in a fast for a long time, so your body's cleared out and you do this regularly, you get DMT in the fast. And how do you know you get DMT in the fast? We can't get high. So I did like 340 milligrams of MDMA one day, and then I did 120 milligrams, 120 milligrams of THC all at once to see if my body would respond. And it's like an hour later, it's like crickets. It's like nothing, and that would normally kill a horse. But that's because at the fasted state, you're already at the highest state of perception you can be.
Yes. They talk about that, Yogananda in his book, Biography of a Yogi. He talks about how the yogis back in India, that once they had been meditating all day, they barely slept at night, they barely ate. They were
Yeah,
always in that constant state. And they would sleep maybe 1 hour or 2 hours a night. That's it. Because they basically got whatever they need from meditation.
yeah. And you know what? The beauty about it is we were on camera every day, and we have videos of our going to lakes and rivers. Because if you don't eat, you save 8 hours a day right off the bat. Because you're no longer acquiring food, cooking food, cleaning up from food. You're no longer going to the bathroom. We went from 36 bags of garbage over 6 weeks to 1 bag over 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So no paper towel, no toilet paper. You don't use that anymore. Your clothes, you basically wear them over, unless you get something dirty on them. You don't sweat in them. So your clothes don't get dirty. So you keep wearing them. It's a bizarre
Yeah, that's
shift.
oh, it is. And actually, I'm staying with my brother right now, and he's on the hard part is like smelling other people's food because then my body wants it. So you almost have to live somewhat secluded. But when I when I was living alone and fasting, I had more energy, twice the energy than what I do when I'm eating food.
Yeah,
I needed less sleep. I couldn't believe how much energy I had after about the third day. I couldn't believe how much energy I had not eating.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
That's because the energy, food. This is the myth. Food is not a fuel. Every doctor, scientist, nutritionist will tell you the same thing. It takes 80% of your energy to digest, process, and eliminate. So food can't be a fuel if it's taking away your energy at 80%. That's like saying my Prius brakes so hard that my battery is fully charged.
right, right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I came to the conclusion, and when I was on my sabbatical last year, I was barely eating, and I had the realization, like, I don't think we really need food.
We don't.
You look at like, I mean, I look at a plant. I look at a plant. Okay, a plant starts with a freaking seed, and all you do is add water, and somehow it grows this gigantic force of vegetation, out of one little tiny seed and water. There's got to be something else going on there
Yeah.
energetically that's beyond the physical. That's my point.
Well, so basically our bones are piezoelectric. So basically when they touch in organic setting, they create spark. That's why if your bones touch you, get a shock or painful. Like if you walk off a curb and you miss it, you go, the whole side is like a TENS unit. So the
Oh,
only bones in your body that touch are the rib cage, the teeth, and the ears. Spark, spark. That's why breath is
the
energy.
breath
And NASA
of
verified this.
life.
By the way. NASA took two people that were breatharians, lived off sunlight and breath, and verified it, did the scientific research. You can study it. We have it in our app under sun gazing. And they list the guys, they talk about it, it's published science.
Wow, that's fascinating. So
Fascinating,
we're basically,
fascinating.
that is fascinating. So we're basically we are fed by the sun.
Well, the fascia is bioacoustic, biophotonic, and bioharmonic. So we are light. That's how
Yeah.
when we measure it with an infrared machine, that's light we're measuring. We are generating light. People don't think about it. That is the generation of light. And
So infrared comes from our bodies.
yeah,
Our bodies are putting off
that's
infrared.
how the thermal, from a satellite, they get the thermal, they can see where you are.
Oh, that's true. It is light, isn't it?
Yeah,
Infrared. Yeah.
yeah.
I always thought it was a heat signature,
Well,
but
what is heat?
that heat signature, but that heat is the
Heat
light wave coming off the
is light.
body. Oh, that is fascinating. Just a light the
It's
eye
like
can't
saying,
see.
oh, that's like speed of light. No, it's not sound. It's not a sound wave. Light is just a frequency. It's a
Yeah.
vibration.
Yeah.
Light is a vibration too. Again, we've been taught these little things that we say that scope the world around us, that limit our ability to perceive anything different.
Wow, fascinating. Fascinating.
Fascinating. So let's get to what's coming up this week, because I'm really interested on what the planets are doing to us this whole week, because I mean, I feel it. And first of all, Cynthia to have 103 fever for a couple of days, it was like, that does not happen ever.
So this week we're really enacting a change of our world power. That's in essence what's happening today. Right now we're at step 28 already. So we are. Oh, there's my phone doing
How
the
do you
cool
do
thing.
that?
It's on an iPhone. It's an iPhone thing that actually
I got
happens
it too,
automatically.
but I don't,
Oh yeah,
I,
it's 2 thumbs up, and 2 thumbs up is fireworks. Apparently, I think. There we go.
oh wow,
Hooray!
what do you got enabled that I don't have?
Basically, you just have to download their latest thing. I think this the heart. If I could do a better heart shape, it'll do hearts out of my fingers. There it is. Yay! Yeah, you can go online and read them all. I did them by accident on you. It's a new. Just get the latest software update.
Yeah, I got the latest
it's
update, but I still can't. You gotta. I guess I have to turn something on.
you might have to. You might have a default off. So we're wrapping up Scorpio this week. In fact, we're wrapping it up really right now. We're at step 28, which means you're manifesting the new you, the new boundary structure of you, the new boundary structure of your life. What's in, what's out. The sun right now is sextiling Pluto at 28 Capricorn, which means that whatever this new boundary structure is, it is setting up your your seat of power in the world. So we are resetting our own seat of power. And I think for the most part, what that means is we're ending where we give our power away. That's most of the examples that I've seen in my clients, is that people were giving their power away, giving their power away to the internet, giving their power away to politics. Basically, remember, your power is your time and energy. So if you're spending a lot of time and energy, investing in things outside of yourself, you're giving away your power. Why are you giving away your power? Because you yourself have inadequacies you haven't faced within you, and for some reason you feel the solution is outside of yourself instead of inside of yourself, which I think is the karmic lesson. So we, in the next 24 hours, you will solidify your new position of power based on boundary structure. And then when the sun goes into Sagittarius, we will then start to rewrite our story that we tell ourselves. And that's what the full moon in Gemini is next Monday. It is ultimately that we will take a new emotional, mental perspective on ourselves, that you're going to realize something about yourself and let go of some sort of obsessive idea about yourself. So it's the consequence of taking back your power. If that makes sense.
So basically, so we end Scorpio, not tomorrow, the day after.
Wednesday.
We go to 0 to.
Yep, like Wednesday morning, like around 9 or 10 a.m.
Okay, and so, but that means that tomorrow is probably going to be a little frantic for people.
Yes, 29, your favorite number.
I mean, I love it. 29s, it's like, woo! But for everybody else, it seems to be like they get their ass kicked, right?
It basically turns, it boils the water at full temperature at 29. So like any impurities come out, any cracks in the pot becomes clear. It's sort of like God always puts the energy at its most intense point right before we go to the next sign. And what this will be is the devil tempting you back. So I think a lot of people have said, no, I'm cleaning up my act. I'm drawing some boundaries. I'm living a new life. And then on step 29, Girl Scouts come and offer you Girl Scout cookies, and you're like, I said no sugar, So there's something will tempt you back or try to tempt you back. Usually within your own sphere of influence and what your own perception. It may not be obvious to the world, but it'll be obvious to you. So that 29 is use that energy not to fight or resist, but to push on and break through. So it's a breakthrough energy if you apply it correctly.
So, okay, so we got 29, then we go to 0. Now, 0 Sag. 0's usually people are like, just don't want to do anything. But is that different because it's 0 Sag and Sag is like douche?
I think this is a very new, I think this is a new 0 as in a new day. So you talk about, I can't remember the term you used, that the scenery changes or that the world changes. What was the term you used? Like,
Yeah. So yeah, the world shows up differently for you. So
This zero actually squares Saturn at zero Pisces. Saturn at zero Pisces is the start of a new
So it's
spiritual
our
life.
spiritual karma.
Yeah, basically it's a new day. So zero Sag, this every year that the sun goes into Sag, it's adding another chapter to the story. So we're adding another chapter. This year we're putting the book on the shelf and we're opening up a new book. So this is a whole new story, a whole new day. And probably the way you experience it is you can probably see a whole new life starting to appear. And you're probably at this stage seeing the old life disappear. And although that we have these lines in astrology, I find that they fade out and fade in. So I think as we go through Sag, your old story is just going to fade out, and a new story is going to fade up at the same time. It's going to be a cross dissolve.
So the old story is, for like people when you're looking at it, it's like I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough. That's the thing is, or I always mess up when I do this. And people, but they still have the habit or the memory of the old story, right? That memory still around there somewhere.
There's going to be a moment when you realize. So to put it back in your story, it'll be like driving by a police truck and not going.
Yeah, fair statement. That's okay. So like, I found out about a sexual trauma that I had when I was young recently, like months ago, and there's an indication. I had this feeling somewhere. I asked the question a couple of times in my life, but never had any confirmation. Then I got a confirmation, and the only thing that I had was compassion.
For yourself.
Well, for myself and for the person. Okay. It was like, man, I know the story. I know what they went through. I know what my version of that was a lot less than they did. And
gotcha.
And so that was trauma coming through. And I thought, oh my gosh, can you imagine the life that they have? And can you imagine living the life, even inflicting the trauma on me and having to live with that and what that would do to them, the grief and stuff like that.
Yes. So I think what you've just described is the neutrality point so I think what we start to realize, there'll be some sort of a mind trip. I think this full moon in Gemini is like a holy shit. Like it's going to be a realization moment for yourself, most likely, which by the way, can come before the full moon apexes. So it may happen anytime from Saturday afternoon until Sunday night.
I have a 29, you've talked to her before, I've got a 29 degree Gemini with a 29 Chiron in Sag here with me this week.
Oh wow!
Yeah, I'm like, okay, there's got to be something happening, right?
Well, that full moon is going to conjoin her Chiron, or it's going to conjoin her sun while the sun conjoins.
Well, would that be the same for Cynthia, who is actually a 14 and a 14? She's basically 14 degree Pisces, and her Chiron's 14 degree Pisces.
She'll be triggered. She'll be sensitive because it's a Gemini full moon, and she's ruled by Gemini, net 5.
And she's also Gemini rising 23 degree, I think.
Oh, okay. So that's still pretty high up. So it'll have a ricochet. So like she's going to have her foundation shaken. And so it's going to, boulders will fall off the top as a result, but the client that you have there
Thanks for the warning.
will be smacked. The client that you have there will have some sort of a breakdown. Will have some sort of a moment, something profound. And because it's a 4 degree, well, she's going to have a dimensional shift. Yeah. The thing about 29s is like they kind of hold on too long.
Yeah, right. So the very last second.
Right. They have to sort of they got to be pushed off the ledge if they're going to parachute. Like they have to be pushed out of the plane. So this will push her out of the plane. I'm probably going to
be able to capture this on video. So that's.
Let's do a live webcam, brother. I'll narrate like a sportscaster. I'll just watch to see when it happens. Looks like she's about to go through the ship. So it's going to be a major shift in the way you think about yourself. I think it's going to be a liberating shift. It might be for some people, depending on where they're in their story. It's like the realization that they are an alcoholic or the realization that they've been lying to themselves. So if you're young on your story, this will be a wake-up call, something you need to pay attention to. If you have been on your journey for a long time, this will be something you realize about yourself that you could never see because you were always preoccupied with your crap. So,
I'm getting that sense already because I had a I had a realization like I've worked out a lot of stuff, and there's not too much in this world that triggers me or that gives me clues anymore
mhm.
about my. But this morning I was like we're in our practice and we're doing a group session and I kept thinking back to my brother, and my brother who's a year and a half younger than me. And when we were kids, he used to like bug me until and it just to the point where I'm just and he's an Aries and I'm an Aries rising. He just keeps poking me and poking me and poking me until I'm like smack, and then he'd start crying, and then I'd get in trouble. And I
Right.
like and I got a little bit of that in my life right now. And,
Okay. Gotcha.
and yeah, and
Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet?
yeah,
Something like that.
or even yet, you stupid ass, you're not even good enough to get there.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm like, yeah, or it's that kind of poking, and I'm like this morning I related it to my brother, which I hadn't done before. Like I've been having these thoughts about my brother and that story coming up, and now I put those two stories together this morning, which means that I'm coming to some sort of awareness shift. I know
Yes.
that.
I'm having the same thing. I've been contacted by I've been contacted people in Hollywood with power. Okay, you've been down this path.
Yeah.
And when I first started, I was like, "Oh, I want to be there. I want to be there with everyone like that, or whatever." And then I was like, "Screw this! I'm going to do my own thing in life. I don't need their approval." And then here I'm at the end of this moment, and suddenly I'm getting sort of some interest, and it's like, but then being ghosted afterwards, and it's triggering that whole like I'm good enough thing. And I caught myself. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah.
this is poking that old bear that I've had for a long time." I saw it for what it was. I was like,
What's
"Okay, I
your
get this."
Chiron?
My Chiron's in Aries at night at
Oh,
18 degrees, so it's
so
all
it's
about
worthlessness or feeling worthwhile, needing outside confirmation of your worth.
proving myself. I think that, to me, I look at it as like having to prove my worth, basically, and thinking I have to prove my worth, or thinking I have to be the one that I'll show you. That's my Chiron 18. I'll
So
show
that makes
you.
that makes perfect sense. So it's triggering that button. And on Pisces, how would Pisces Chiron react?
A Pisces Chiron would be like feeling guilty, like a Pisces Chiron would feel guilty or feel shameful, feel like their issue isn't their response is that I've sinned, that I'm in trouble with God, that I've done something wrong. Chiron and Pisces,
And
it's
that's my
all wound.
28 degree Pisces today. I felt
Oops, I lost sound there for a minute. That's okay.
last night, I felt it coming like crazy last night.
Yeah,
And
it's coming in,
because I'm a 28
and
and it's a 28 day.
today is a 28 day. In fact, today the sun is trining your Chiron,
Yeah.
so the sun is directly activating. So the sun is God consciousness, and I heard someone talk. Oh, so human design. I don't know if you heard of human
Yeah,
design
of
before,
course.
but
Yeah. I'm a generator. So are you.
yes, I'm a generator also. Exactly, emotional generator. And so the person who channeled that's name is Ra. Interestingly enough, so
Ah.
right, who but what Ra said, and this is an interesting theory. Ra said in his own teachings that the way that there are photons flying through space, and these photons fly through matter, they fly through planets, they fly through your body. And he claimed that it's the photons from the sun that then come together with the photons from the stars of the horoscopes that then fly through your body and affect the photons of your life. So we talk about the gravity of the moon shifting the water in our body.
Yeah.
Ra was suggesting that the consciousness is all driven by photons flying through us, which I thought to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, because at the end of it, everything that happens in our body, we are made of fascia and we're photonic. So photons affect photons. It makes perfect sense. And we are the light and the spectrums of light. I mean, that's why they're polluting the sky is they're not blocking out the sun. They're blocking out specific spectrums of the sun, which change our hormonal response.
I believe that's
Yeah.
true too.
Yeah.
So photons are blowing through your Chiron.
Yeah.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
That. Yeah.
So,
But
I say, hey, everybody, you got to give me a break today. You got photons blowing through my Chiron, guys.
yeah, back back away. Please step
Yeah,
back.
I felt that today. I felt a sense. I mean, it's again, these are more of of light awarenesses where I feel like a little bit guilty about something, but I have nothing. But I know in my world I have nothing to feel guilty about. Like I have literally. Oh, there's Yelena. Ha ha ha. Yeah, you're gonna say ha 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 until Wednesday, and I'm gonna be filming it. That's the 29-degree Gemini.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, yeah. Yeah,
and
I
she's
can see
going
her
ha
face
ha
in my
ha, and
head.
I'm like, oh no
Oh,
no, ha 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 is on Wednesday.
the joke's on you. Yeah, 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 the joke's on you. Well, I think
So
this is a good thing. So I think so there's going to be one last round of that old karmic dog probably come up between now and Thanksgiving.
yeah,
Just like
yeah,
you described and I
yeah.
described, where we're being tempted back. Like, you sure you don't want to go down this old pattern again, this old path? And you have to
I
say,
mean,
no, I'm
I
sure.
was there. I was annoyed enough yesterday that I was going down that path, right?
I got caught in a couple realms where I was like, I'll show you. And I was like, wait a second. No, I'm not here to show you. I cut myself. So it's that Pavlovian, between vomiting at 4 a.m. release of those old habits. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 and that's the grief. It's also that there's two parts of grief: your lungs and your large intestine. But they're both commensurate in it. But the lung part of it is saying that you've moved past it, you're getting rid of it. Because large intestine, that grief has to come up through the lungs and come out, right? Or
Ooh.
it has to come out there. So that's a good sign. It's your body is showing you a good sign.
I think so. And I'm starting to lose a lot of weight naturally too, which is interesting because when I was dealing with this, I swole up a little bit. Now I'm starting to get back to my natural comfortable
They're
weight,
not
which is good.
all swollen anymore.
Yeah, not yeah. I'm much less. I can see it, and it just happened on its own. It was definitely emotional, but yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Hans and Franz.
that's, I mean, listen, we've got enough user data. That's the interesting thing I was saying is that we've turned all of our millions of followers into scientists, collecting data, photographing, writing journals, taking pictures of stuff that shows up in their body. So pretty soon with AI and the way we're working, we're going to have the largest contiguous base of data on human beings that I know of in the planet.
That's fascinating.
That's
That's
fascinating.
fascinating. You should use. Have you heard about Elon Musk just released his AI called Grok, which is,
Yeah.
I think,
He
if you're
also
going to
he
use an
also
AI.
said on Joe Rogan that the firmament stopped him from going into the Mars. So
Did he say that?
he did on Joe Rogan.
He really did. So we're going to have to talk about. I want to hear your ideas on the firmament.
I
Like,
you know here's what I think at the end of it is that this is a realm, and a realm creates reality. I've seen enough in my life to know that I create my own reality. So if I don't like the life that's showing up, it's because I'm doing something in here that's not working.
yep.
And so that's just part of it, and it becomes a big distraction. I don't trust anybody. Not trust. Okay, that's not the right word. They're all pushing a point of view and a belief system that people get to subscribe to. And mine is, I don't give a shit. I'm going to have fun while I'm here. I'm figuring out my body. I'm going to enjoy the people I love. And who gives a rat's ass if there's a firmament, if there's not, if it's flat or if it's round, don't care. I've been in that fight for way too long. I've been in the fight of the body for way too long. Everything I thought about the body and fought for in the body was wrong anyway. And now that I know it's wrong and I have a different viewpoint, I'm open to the fact that I may be still wrong. So I'm
Right. Well,
not going to invest
and
any energy.
misled. It's not even wrong. It's like been lied to,
Yeah,
misled.
misled.
Subscribe to someone's theory. So
But
the firmament is what? Like, there's some sort of glass dome over us, like, because they had pictures on Twitter of like his rocket
yeah,
blowing
hitting
up.
the thing. Yeah,
Yeah, and
who knows?
it
Who
looked
knows?
like
Who
it. It
knows?
looked like a sci-fi. It looked like a sci-fi the way it hit. It was really pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then even then, who knows if that's real?
Yeah, especially with AI.
And
I mean, with
right now, it's
special
like
effects.
holographs and AI. Who knows? So that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't care anymore because I used to care, and because I cared, I was controlled.
Right.
I
Exactly.
don't care whatever shows up because I'm still having my life. It doesn't matter whether there's a dome or there's no dome. I'm still living my life and doing the things I want to do, and I'm helping people and doing what I love in my life right now. So screw it. I don't care. Dome, no dome.
right.
It's not going to change. If there is a dome, what does that do? Is that like, am I depressed now? Am I happy? Am I feel vindicated? I mean, what does it change? It's all an emotion in me.
Yeah, it reminds me of a story in Eckhart Tolle's book. I can't remember which one it was, but where he talks about how the Zen master responds by just the same response no matter what. So the earth is flat, maybe. The earth is round, maybe. Like you just stay in that maybe, and
I'm
maybe,
in
and maybe not.
I'm in yeah, if it is for you, it is, and great. And you know, when I get the chance to approach that, you know, I'm what I'm excited about is like we're going to be doing an Asia tour here in end of January, February, and
Ooh,
yeah, we have celebrities
wow.
in government that are bringing us in, and I'm going to places that no one else can go to. That's my only
Wow.
ask. Like hey, it's all free. We're here to help, all that. But here's a list of things that I want to do,
Okay.
and we got the power
Right.
to do it. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just gonna go see all of. I'm excited about seeing all of the shit that I couldn't see, that I shouldn't be able to see, that only certain people. I just want to go and experience right now,
That
and I'll
sounds
make my own
cool.
decisions. I'll make my own opinion.
24 is looking like a year of experience for me too. I think I'm going to be
Maybe,
traveling a lot.
maybe you'll be coming with me.
Yeah, I just maybe, 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 Fred, maybe. We'll see. Well, we're definitely
That's
gonna
awesome.
we're gonna have to connect like next year. Actually, I do want to talk to you offline about something as well. So we'll have to talk about it. So you in the
Yeah,
China, or you
we'll
cannot
chat.
say?
I mean,
You
can I
can't
go to China?
can't yeah, you can. Are you?
Oh yeah, no, we're going to. We have a big thing in the Philippines, a country tour. We're talking like hundreds of thousands of people, and then
Wow.
Indonesia, same thing. And Indonesia, same thing. We got some maybe stops, like depending on what happens in Japan, because we're like growing in Japan, and we've got Ikue who has all the Japanese content already ready to go, so that market's ready. And we're now in 20 languages. We have our basic program in 20 languages, so that's and now all those languages are where we were with our 15-minute stress reset, which we launched with 2 years ago. So we're just about to go.
Wow. Yeah, and I think with Pluto and Aquarius, it's going to explode. We're starting to get a little fragmented here. Like something with your energy there. I think you went into a new dimension.
Yeah. Okay, Chris. So we'll chat offline. Looking forward. Thank you. Look forward to next week because Monday is going to be an interesting day. Last Monday was the date that things changed and we were traveling. This Monday I'll be back and settled, but there's going to be some big change. I'm waiting to see what it is. Wednesday's a hot day for everybody. Let's see what happens on Wednesday for everybody.
Yep. Wednesday's a hot day. You'll be back in Canada on Monday? Is
No,
that
no, I'll
right?
be back in Mexico and then Canada. We're going to be up there on the 9th of December.
Okay, cool.
If you feel
Well,
like
then I
you want
guess
to come up, we got a big event coming up on the 16th.
December, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, I'd be happy
Okay,
to.
buddy.
Well, we're gonna hang out soon, sir. Much love to you, brother. Love you, man.
Yeah. Love you
Say,
too.
give my
Bye
love to
bye.
everyone in the garage.